Hey, what's up, guys? It's Piff, and hope you guys are all doing well today. And you're enjoying yourself. I have a really weird and kind of scary story that happened to me a couple weeks ago, actually. So this is the point in the video where people would normally be like, "Okay, so before we get into it, a word from our sponsors or some shit like that." But I don't have any sponsors, so guess we'll just get straight into the story. So this story actually took place on what I think was a Friday night. um, it honestly might have been a Saturday, but I'm pretty sure it was a Friday. But yeah, I didn't know if I worked that night or not. I don't think I worked, so it was a Friday. And the plan was for me and a couple of friends to go over to one of my buddies' house. And so I called up one of my other buddies. We can call him Joe. So I called up Joe and asked for the address for this other guy's house. And we can call that guy Blake. And so I asked Joe what the address for Blake's house was because he just recently moved into like a really nice house. So we're all trying to go over there just to chill. And Joe started being like a little bitch and wanted me to go over to his house and like help him with some shit. Mainly just grabbing beers and liquor and just moving it into his car, or like putting it in a bag and moving it into his car. But anyways, that's what Joe and I finished. I followed him to Blake's house, and when we got there, he gave us this little tour, a little run around, because I've never been to his house before. So he gave us a little tour and showed us like all the rooms and shit. So yeah, like what like normal people do when they have people over at their house. But yeah, because this guy's been talking about moving to a new house for like fucking month now. And I can't imagine the excitement that's actually been going through this guy's body because he's been super hyped about it. And now he's finally getting to show us. But anyways, Joe and I say hello to his mom. We go into Blake's guest house where two of our other friends are just chilling there waiting for us, kind of just vibing in there. But yeah, we honestly kind of talked for like an hour because neither me or Joe has seen like any of our friends for like a solid 3 weeks. So we kind of just spent that time catching up. But anyways, after we catch up for a bit, Blake pulls out a blunt and he's like, "Hey, so which one do you guys want to smoke?" And I'm sitting here like, "Fuck, man, I'm 100% down to smoke." But like who knows? My mom's gonna whip out the test the next day, cause like my mom is the type of person to drug test me like all the time, and she like threatens to me like that she's gonna drug test me and everything, which is really annoying. But so I'm sitting here just like indecisive as fuck because I want to smoke, but I mean who knows? My mom's gonna go to the drug test, you know what I mean? But my dumbass gives in and decides to smoke with them. And by the way, they weren't like peer pressuring me or anything. They weren't like, "Hey, so like you're a bitch if you don't smoke" or anything. They're just kind of like offering it to me. But the offer was there, and you know, I eventually decided to smoke with them, and so eventually I go outside with them, not wearing a hoodie for some reason, because it was like 60 degrees outside, it was or like 50 degrees outside, and it was super windy. So like, I probably should have worn a hoodie, but I was wearing like a short sleeve shirt and like some joggers, so it was not the best situation to be in. But yeah, it was cold as fuck and super windy. And while three of us are out there just trying to decide something, we're smoking this blunt, and I think some of our other friends showed up. Um, Maybe it was after we went inside. I really don't know, but I know there was other friends there. But I guess we can call them Isabel and Alexis. We'll call them Isabel and Alexis. Um, Anyways, we're all just chilling there outside, kind of just smoking, and I start to get way too fucking high. Like I entered this like state of like the anxiety mode where I'm kind of just like, fuck, what did I just do? Like, am I gonna get drug tested? Am I gonna go home? My dad's gonna notice that I'm super high. But yeah, I just started getting really fucking quiet, and one of our buddies grabbed some waters, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys want any water?" And I don't have any cotton mouth at all, so I'm like, "No, I don't want any water." And I'm just sitting here like staring at the ground, just like completely zoned out. I'm just zoned out, kind of just like looking at the ground. My friends are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm just kind of, really high." And but eventually we all back into the house, and it's like the walk back to the house, which was like 30 feet, was so difficult for me because I'm like stuttering over my own footsteps, and it's really hard to just walk because I'm that high. But my friends and I were planning on taking shots, drinking a few beers, and I was planning on doing that too, like before I ended up smoking. But at this point, I was just like, nah, I don't want to drink. I just want to be sober at this point. Like I was at that point where I was way too high, and I'm just like, I just want to be sober. And I'm sitting here just kind of like getting tracers and everything, and I'm like everything's in slow motion. And at this point, my friends are trying to talk to me, like, bro, how high are you? And shit like that, just like some stupid shit. And I'm sitting here just like in my own mind, I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna be able to drive home? Because I have to drive home at 11, and we probably started smoking around like 9. So I'm like really hoping that it goes down. Like I get to the point where I'm like okay to drive back. But yeah, no, I put my flannel and my hoodie on like eventually when it's time to go. And Blake and Blake asks Isabel and Alexis to drive me home. Cause like one of my other buddies was like, "Hey, so is it cool if I drive you home?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude, it's fine. Like I'll drive myself home." And he's like, "Are you sure?" Cause he was like trying to make sure that I got home okay. But yeah, I'm like, "Nah, it's fine, dude. I'll be all right." But yeah, Isabel and Alexis drive me home, so they followed me, and in my mind, I'm like, "Fuck! Like, how am I gonna be able to drive home? Like, because I wasn't any less high at this point. I was completely still like out of it. Like, I was so out of it. But yeah, I'm just sitting there and thinking that there's no way I'm gonna be able to drive home, but I had to. Like, I literally had to. There's no other way. So, I mean, I guess I could have had one of them drive me home, but then I'd show up to my house without a car, and my dad would be like, "Why don't you have a car? Where's your car at?" So I'm like, "All right, I'm just gonna drive home by myself." And so they end up following me out and get in my car, and I'm just sitting here like in my car, because most of the time when I get in my car, I just start playing music, but this time I'm just like sitting here. I'm thinking, I'm like, "There's no way I'm about to drive home right now." And I don't turn my music on because I was really focused. Like my head was like 2 inches away from the steering wheel because I was so focused. Like I couldn't see like 100 yards in front of me. I couldn't even like distinguish what was the road and what was like the traffic lights. You know what I mean? So I turned left like to go out of his house. And I turned left and which was the way I was supposed to go home. And I fucking lose them. Like they turned right and I turned left. And I'm driving by myself, high out of my goddamn mind, so I'm just trying to make it home. And my head is 3 inches away from the steering wheel because I'm just focusing super hard and I'm squinting my eyes because if I didn't, all of the colors of like the lights would be super blurry and I wouldn't be able to see straight. So I'm just sitting here squinting my eyes and like trying so hard just to focus on the road. But yeah, anyways, the most crazy shit happened. So I pull up to the stoplight and my foot on the brakes like normal people do, like what you're supposed to do. And I have no idea what happened or what went through my head. Um, but all of a sudden, I just like my subconscious is just like, all right, you need to go right now. So I stomp on the gas, and I'm going like 45 miles per hour, like 60 miles per hour. And besides running like the normal red light and going where I'm supposed to go, like straight, I end up swerving like into the opposite lane, like where the oncoming traffic is. And like normally this would be like a really big deal, but luckily for me there was only like one car coming, so it wasn't too bad. But at the same time it was still super fucking scary because I'm like super anxious, super high, like I'm trying to just get home okay. And I'm going 60 for about like 6 seconds until my mind is like, oh shit, and actually realizes what the fuck's happening. And because I was just zoned out the entire time, like I was literally just sitting here and I forgot that I was driving. And yeah, luckily the traffic was not bad at all. I made it okay. I made a few wrong turns going home. I drove down this one road for like half a mile, this wrong road for like half a mile, and then I eventually realized I'm like, oh, I'm going down the wrong road. But yeah, eventually I make it back, say hi to my dad, and luckily he was sitting on the couch, so like he wasn't gonna come up to me and be like, hey, so why are your eyes like ridiculously red? Um, no, he was just sitting on the couch, just kind of eating chicken. And luckily he brought home me some chicken, so I just go in my room and I'm just like munching on this fucking chicken, bro. It's Cane's with the cane sauce, and I'm just munching on this shit. And but the whole time while I'm eating, I'm just like sitting here thinking, and I'm like in awe of what actually just happened to me. And like it doesn't seem real. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like what actually happened just happened. It just happened so quickly and it was so surreal. But you know, let's go ahead and take something away from this story. Only drive when you're sober, please. Actually, like when you're actually able to function correctly, and don't make dumbass decisions like I did. I mean, like stupid decisions all the time. Like I make stupid decisions all the time, but this one was by far the worst that I've actually ever made. Like I've never actually had a problem driving unsober any time in my life, but this was like the first time where it was actually like bad, and it got like out of hand. But but I mean, yeah. Anyways, guys, hope the story entertained you because it was weird as fuck, and it was weird for me. It's kind of like ingrained in my head now, I guess. But hope you all have a good day. Take it easy, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.